A fucking shit. I wish that's like saying Godzilla the musical. That's like saying Godzilla the musical.
Jurassic World, these are all based on, I don't know how many of the books there are. I'm sure there are a lot more than 6. Starts when Michael Crichton was alive.
No, Michael Crichton only wrote the first one. I think the rest of them are like that. You know, like what you say, that sad-ridden shit. But Michael Crichton only wrote the first one.
Right, yeah. Yeah, well, you know, once people get like, ooh, I got a new idea. And they write some shit like, hey, go ahead. And it becomes a whole, you know,
a whole thing, yeah. And sometimes those genres be getting deep. Shit.
And sometimes off the deep end.
That shit sometimes be getting deep, and then sometimes it goes to, like you said, the Star Wars going to too much into the deep end, and you like, this don't got shit to do with anything no more. You just fucked up all the church's money. Yeah, you just fucked up all the church's money. What's they say? Han Solo was raised on Finkel in Detroit, Michigan. What? Who wrote this? He raised in the projects in the streets of Philly's born and raised in the project. What? This we reading the same story?
Right. His mama is Hispanic.
Right, you know, so. Did you hear about, speaking of shit like that, they changed the story up. Did you hear about the black Batwoman coming out?
No, I don't know if you ever watched the show Batwoman.
That's the one I'm talking about. Yeah, the original one who was supposed to be, which I didn't give it a chance because I just can't believe Alfred was letting Bruce's cousin come in and go through his shit and start fighting crime. That didn't make sense to me. But she said that I guess she couldn't take the fandom, the anxiety of it all that attention and shit. They split mutually, her and the company, so they replaced her already with a black woman. She's gonna be a different woman, so she's not gonna be her. So they're not gonna do the bullshit and they play it off like one scene she was white, next scene she was black. It's actually gonna be a different woman.
Right.
I'm not sure if she's still.
It was black and black, but all of a sudden the original Althea who goes to that color to look like Hillary. And it's okay. Yeah, she ain't gonna do like that. It's gonna be actually a different character. I'm not sure if she's gonna still be a lesbian or not, because that was a big deal too. A lot of people, they kept putting emphasis on how she a lesbian and she vegan, and they was marketing the fuck out of that. Like, I'm not trying to talk about people's preference as far as their lifestyle. But I think that's a little ridiculous when they start trying to point that out. Like when they kept making a big thing about Finding Dory. Oh my God, she's being played by a gay kid. So? Like, there's nobody pointed it out about like when Xavier was played by Patrick Stewart, who's gay. Like, he's being played by a gay kid.
No, Patrick isn't. No, Patrick isn't gay. It's Ian McKellen who's gay. And they good friends. But Patrick isn't gay. In fact, he has a wife and some kids. Okay. I don't think he got kids with his wife. I think he got married a couple times, but it's Ian McKellen. But yeah, like you say, nobody made that a big deal. But that's because...
But I'm like, either way,
I know what you mean.
Why do you care?
No, that's because... That's because those type of...
People were trying to get that in on Frozen. They wanted the character in the movie to be gay. I'm like...
Well, that's because from that generation of actors, they don't feel like their personal life should leave. They don't feel like their job is activism.
Yeah,
it's like activism. They active as far as their orientation. Because what's his name was saying that George Takei. They was talking about making Sulu gay. And he said, no, don't make him gay because I'm gay. He was like, Sulu had a daughter on the original show. Keep him the way he is. He's a character I played. We're not going to play that role that, you got people like that. Like, I done seen guys on TV, these tranny guys, like, they want to play transgender roles. And then someone went as far as saying, we want to play women roles. We want people to take us seriously to the point that even though I'm 6'8" and got a 5 o'clock shadow, I want people to look at me the same way they look at Pam Jackson. Like, seriously. Like, really talking about this shit. And then someone was saying, like, hey, like, I think Halle Berry's supposed to play in a movie where she was supposed to be transgender. And they protested against saying, like, there's so many transgenders out here. Why pick Halle Berry? And it's like, because she wanted to play a pretty one.
I'm like, why can't they go both ways then?
Right, but I guess they wanted a pretty transgender. Because most of the famous ones you could tell are men. So, I don't know. I ain't seen too many of the famous ones that you like, oh, you look so beautiful, I can't even tell. You could tell all of them were men. So, it's not like... But there are transgender out there who can't tell. So, and Pam Grier did it before. So I guess that's how they want to do it, but she quit because of the backlash. She was like...
But listen, if a transgender wants to say, I want to portray a woman, like, is that good? Then why can't a actual woman portray a trans? Basically, like what Jared Leto did.
Yeah, that's my exact argument. That's my exact argument when I see people who like turn their nose up at somebody who plays gay, and it's like you forget that acting is playing pretend. So why are you looking at him sideways because he did a movie?
Will Smith throughout his career, trying to put out, oh, he's gay.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, or like, you know, like I tell people, like, you know, like, believe it or not, I was telling people that about my man Robert Pattinson. I said, believe it or not, he's not really a vampire. He's an actor. I said that should let y'all know.
Go home and sharpen his teeth.
Yeah, and I tell people like, and that should let y'all know. That should give y'all some faith in him as Bruce, because he played that role so good that y'all can't see him as anything else. Y'all don't even see him as Robert Pattinson no more. All y'all see is the vampire from Twilight. So that should let you know how good he did that. It's sort of, and only few people do that in their careers. Where they, like, for example, what's his name, Mark Hamill. When you see him, you think, Luke, he got a lucrative career.
The Joker.
You're right. I mean, not just Joker. Joker, Guyver. He got so many voiceover roles. Those are just his two biggest parts. But he got, like, if you look at his resume, he actually works, nigga. But when you see him, he played that Luke role. Some of that is iconic. That's when you see him. That's what you think too.
But you know that's a fan thing.
Because he was just Chucky. He was just Chucky in the last movie.
Because they talked about. Wait, what did you say?
I said he was just Chucky in the last Child's Play. So he works.
Oh yeah. The remake.
Yeah, so he works.
The remake, right?
Yeah, the remake, the recent one. Yeah, so he works, but it's like, you know, you do that because he wasn't the only one in that movie. So it's like you would think, oh, the movie was so famous, that's why. No, because Harrison Ford, you don't look at him and just think Han Solo. I look at him and think.
They said that about him. They was like he was pretty much the only one whose career didn't like, because he said that after Return of the Jedi, whatever you want to part 6, whatever. He was like, after that was done, his thought process was, good, now I can get to work. And that's what he did, because he held the record for the combined total about money made for all his movies. And of course, Sam Jackson broke that one, because he's in one of 3 movies that come out in Hollywood.
Shit, I'm surprised. I mean, you want to talk about who worked it, or you talk about how much money was made? Because yeah, Sam would break that because he got the most work out of.
He did break it.
I'm saying like he would break because he got the most money.
Harrison Ford said his point of view was after the movie, he's like, good, now I can get to work. I mean,
as attached himself to the Marvel franchise and Star Wars. That's the right there. But you want to talk about who working? I would say Danny Trejo giving Samuel Jackson a run for his motherfucking money. Because that man was making a movie. I was reading, like a couple years ago, I used to rent videos. He was making so many movies that the video place had a contest called the Danny Trejo Threat. And if you can guess how many movies he's going to have released that month, you get a free rental. He kept dropping movies. He kept dropping movies.
Grant was doing it for a minute.
Yeah, he kept dropping movies. So yeah, so we want to talk about who working, but if you want to talk about making money, yeah, Samuel Jackson. I would say only person I could think of right now.
Movies alone.
The Marvel movies alone, the Star Wars movies alone, you know, that's 2 major franchises. But he got he got a big resume.
I'm talking about the amount of movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got a big. So that, I'm saying they added towards.
Marvel movie is tied to that MCU.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like with that, to add it to what he already did, because they talk about overall. They didn't say how much who made the most in Marvel. We talk about overall. Because the only person I know.
I'm just saying those alone. Then you count all the movies.
Because the only person I know who got it like that is Zoe Zadana. This bitch part of 3 major franchises. Low key 4.
Right.
But she quit in one of them. But she was part of the Pirates franchise. She part of the Marvel franchise. She part of the Star Trek franchise. And she part of the Avatar franchise. Because that shit is not over, nigga. That shit supposed to be coming out next year.
Yeah, they've been talking about that.
Okay, so that's the guap.
He broke that back in 95. He just didn't have the technology to do it back then.
That's the guap right there. Shit.
08. So
I
mean,
you know what I'm saying, to pull it off like that, I don't know nobody I could think of offhand. I probably could do some research that got like 4 major franchises that they're attached to under their belt.
Yeah.
A lot of people pep off 1 or 2.
I'm just talking about quantity.
Oh yeah, that's why I said quantity. Yeah, if I said Sam would kill it.
When they said that about Harrison Ford, like originally he had the record for the most. You know, after that he got in with George Lucas and Steve Spielberg.
Yeah, because he got 3 franchises, don't he?
Huh?
I said because he got 3 franchises, don't he?
Well, he got Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and do you want to call it Blade Runner? Because then they do it.
No, Blade Runner was a franchise, but I want to call that franchise because they didn't drop that one until like 30 years later. I'm talking about his what's the movie called? He did like 3 or 4 of them when he played the Tom Clancy movies he was doing. Jack Ryan movies. Yeah, like that was a franchise he did the most.
Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger. Yeah.
What else he did? Patriot Gage, Clear Patriot Danger. I know he did something else.
One came out really. I think it's just called Jack Ryan.
That's the one. That's the show to come on now. Because Alex Baldwin's the one who did it first.
But he but I mean, besides that, because the name I've kind of thought of, I'm like, Arnold Schwarzenegger made a lot of freaking movies throughout the night.
Yeah, he made a lot of movies, but like we were saying, Sam got a big resume. Plus, he added himself to like 2 major franchises. I think Arnold was only part of
Terminator.
No, he got Conan the franchise too. I'm trying to think. What else he got besides Conan and Terminator? Arnold on his list of shit.
What you mean as far as franchises?
As far as franchises, we ain't going into his resume.
No, because I was going to say he was only in the one Predator movie. With that one, it was always somebody different as far as the cast against the Predator.
Yeah, nobody actually survived that.
Reoccurring, because Sigourney Weaver was the one that kept turning up in the Alien, and they combined the 2 movies, but she wasn't part of that, so she just stuck with Aliens.
Yeah. I don't know why he won't come back, because his character didn't die. But I guess the money wasn't right for Arnold. And well,
you talking about in Predator?
Any of them, yeah. Like, he said he's trying to bring back Conan, so I can see his character coming back as an old merc.
I'm laughing because my man, what's his name? Jason Momoa. I was like, why did they make this? This was right in the midst of them making it right before the first Avengers came out. And then Jason Momoa turned up in Conan real quick. I think that movie made about $5 and the tickets cost $8. So
that was $5 in food stamps. That's what they didn't tell you.
Right.
Because he was to me that movie was about as ridiculous as when they called The Rock to play Hercules. Like they act like because they so famous that we can't tell they ain't white, and we can tell both these guys are not white, so it looks awkward when you see this character. That'd be like if they made an X-Men movie now and Miley Cyrus plays Storm and they try to play it off like nobody noticed that she's not this African princess.
With a really good spray tan. Like,
no, not even spray tan, because that's what I'm saying. They didn't even spray tan. Because I was thinking, like, with Aquaman, if they at least dyed his hair blonde, he could have probably pulled it off. But he still got kinky hair. He's still looking like he Latino or something.
You can't really count it because they already did it with Floyd in Suicide Squad. Will Smith, newsflash, not white.
Yeah.
Perry, I've been noticing they be trying to mix it up more because a lot of DC, you were seeing a lot of black characters in DC. It was more Marvel because they got Lawrence Fishburne to play Lois's boss in Batman.
Yeah, Perry. What's his name? Perry something.
Yeah. Yep. So that's
and on the new Batman, Commissioner Gordon supposed to be black.
Okay.
So, I mean, I could see all over the place with that shit, but it just...
I'm like, why don't they bring you in the black Batman? I'm like, do something, because I'll look back and that some DC does not have a lot of
you see,
black
but
characters.
You see, that's what I'm saying with shit like that. Like, with major characters, you can't pull that off. With a side character or something, yeah, we could pull off.
What side character? Because that, I'm glad even DL usually brought that up. He's like, yeah, one Captain Marvel will do. I'm like, yeah, originally Captain Marvel was a dude.
Yeah, they changed that to a girl.
Yeah, and I mean, in the comic books, they done it out. I mean, with this, what they did in the movies, they made her a girl. And I'm like, yeah.
No. I'm talking about, you talking about Captain Marvel?
Yes. Originally, Captain Marvel was a man in the comic book.
Yeah, but that's what for DC. As far as Marvel, yeah, he was a man, but they made Marvel into a woman now. He gave the powers to Carol Danvers. But she wasn't the first one to have him. The first one to have him was... Monica Rambeau, which on the movie they made that her best friend's daughter. So that's what they say, probably setting up for Young Avengers. But it was originally a black woman. But Captain Marvel, who is now called Shazam, is on DC. So that's like mixing up the ethos. And they said they sued for that. That's why he can't go by Captain Marvel no more. And she's now Captain Marvel because
it was Miss Marvel.
Yeah, she was Miss Marvel for me. Yeah, you remember she was Miss Marvel for me. Yeah, so that's what. So now she's the new captain of the team now. So instead of Captain America, they got Captain Marvel as the lead of the team. But yeah, they sued for that name. They went through a big thing about that. And he went through. He got sued by DC and Marvel because DC was saying he looked too much like Superman, and his backstory was too much like Superman. And Marvel was saying,
are they trying to sue